What is your damage, little boy? You got a sick and twisted world perspective.
You're listening to Comics Podcasting on the edge of civility.
Yeah, boy!
What the
Flavor
fuck?
Flav up in this motherfucker! Except it ain't. Oh, don't sigh at me, Rev. You've done weirder shit.
Name
Like,
one thing.
Just tonight you've done weirder shit.
No, all right, fine.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Yeah, called out very quickly on that.
Kids, this is episode 213 of The Mean Geek. Comics Podcasting on the edge of civility. As always, right next to me is the Reverend Mad Duck, who never likes to be called out with his real name, so I say it every time, Bill McGinnis. Accountability, man. Accountability.
You know it has nothing to do with that. I just don't like people or people knowing of me.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, it did work the other day. Somebody rang the phone. Yes, because I'm from the 30s. I got a phone call, and they're like, "Did they ask for Mahendra? They asked for me." I'm like, "They asked for you." Fuck. And you just see the kid look at me like, "What?"
And I am he who shall remain unnamed.
Oh, fuck you. Fuckity no.
I am the man who will not be mentioned. I'm Blondie. I'm the man with no name. I am the Tech Jedi, Adrian Hunter. And that is the single redeeming quality of Transformers Age of Extinction right there.
It's a special film.
The little black dress, man. How much more can you ask for? I don't like anything in this movie, dude. Not even that. I'm telling you. It's ridiculous. Although I may hire people like that for... What the fuck are they doing? Anyway, that's just so terrible I can't even begin to describe it to you kids. I'm sure you've seen it because you're all fucking nerds. And eventually we all got to see all the nerd shit. So... I don't have anything interesting that happened this week. Because I have paid absolutely no attention to nerd news. At all. Did you read anything?
No, I was just pulling up to see if anything I could think of. I saw somebody on Facebook, this is old, but somebody on Facebook posted for Norm Brayfogel's charity stroke.
Oh.
Which was nice. Not him having the stroke.
Well,
obviously.
certainly. I mean, don't be ridiculous.
But,
however...
Oh, you got your Emerald City news.
I don't know if
that's
you
still
call
a work
that
in progress,
news.
though. So.
Yeah, so we'll leave that one alone. I did, however, see Ant-Man.
Did you?
I did, in fact. And the judgment is... great flick.
Really?
Yep. I enjoyed the crap out of it.
Very nice.
Michael Douglas pulled it right the fuck out. And it establishes a deeper backstory for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because apparently Hank Pym has been around for a very, very long time.
Well, that is cool.
Running around, all tiny, heroin and shit. And it kind of disappointed me that they did what they did to Janet. But I guess they got Hope in there, their daughter.
What would they do to Janet?
You know what? By the time this gets released, if you didn't watch it, fuck you. They killed her off in a mission years and years and years ago.
Oh, that's too bad.
So
they're using Hope as the...
Yeah, as the next Wasp. So, that'll do. I described it on Twitter as a light, frothy souffle bubbling with superhero energy.
How was Paul Rudd?
Paul Rudd did pretty well, as a matter of fact. He was funny. He wasn't over the top at any point. He never felt insincere. Not that I ever thought Paul Rudd was insincere, but I don't have enough Paul Rudd movie watching behind me to really know if that's valid or not.
What about who was the daughter?
The daughter was Evangeline Lilly.
Oh, so you were very happy with that.
I was incredibly happy. you know my predilection for Evangeline Lilly.
Was she good in it, though?
Well, a lot of people are complaining that they didn't give her a lot to work with, but it's not Marvel's Evangeline Lilly. It's Marvel's Ant-Man. So she was very instrumental throughout the flick, and she did well with what she was handed. So, see, I'm thinking. Never mind.
Do you think that they will go with Herbie and Wasp in the next one?
Yeah. Well, it's in the end scenes that they reveal that they've been working on a Wasp costume. So, but Anthony Mackie was in it.
Yeah, I saw that in the trailer.
That was pretty good. He got his ass handed to him by Ant-Man, by Scott fucking Lang. And his little semi-incompetent criminal friends were actually pretty goddamn funny.
Nice.
And the guy, one of the criminals, wasn't that much of a criminal. He actually came across at the end and was not a hugely overt hero, but very clearly had heroic tendencies. So that's pretty nice. You don't have to be, you don't have to be running around in armor or influenced by PIM particles to be, a decent person. It's good. It's good like that.
That's hysterical.
I'm not convinced by that judgment.
It's I haven't seen it, so it's hard for me. It sounds like a solid flick. I'm very looking forward to it. Commodore wife is a Paul Rudd fan, so
Oh yeah, might actually get her to go to a Marvel flick.
yep. Well, she watched Iron Man last night by her choice.
Really?
Yep, the first one. She had never seen it before.
And the judgment was
It's a great movie, so she enjoyed it.
Excellent. So, what do you think? Should we jump in or be bored with the rest of our conversation?
I always find our conversation boring. It's not a DC week, so we don't have to fill. Go for it. What do we got?
Kids, it's the May Indies, and boy howdy is this a gigantic fucking episode. So let's get stuck in with Sabrina number 3. I'm happy with Sabrina. It's a good horror flick, show, movie. Hi, comic book.
Flick, show, movie, comic book.
It's a comic book.
Setting the bar low, aren't you?
It's a comic book, and I rather enjoy it. It's just that I'm being distracted by this stupid movie. You need to turn that shit down, so I'm not listening to it.
Yes, it's my fault.
Yeah, it totally is. You put these things on. Now,
You want to go back to Zombievers?
We finished it.
Well, I can restart it if you
No,
prefer.
you cannot restart Zombievers. That's a terrible idea. At any rate, Sabrina and her aunts have this nice little picnic and talk about the history of witches, which I guess you got to have some kind of world building in there somewhere. But once you've established they're witches, I mean,
Well, that's
Man,
all true.
magic is magic. I
Not
mean-
true, but that's all based off of the Salem witches and whatnot. Like when Commodore West and I went to Salem, I learned all those names and stuff. So that was all based around that.
no, I get that, but I mean, isn't it usually enough that magic is magic?
You know what? I'm going to smack you. And I'm going to smack you for the simple reason that whenever we have a culture that fires off like, ooh, it's magic, you're like, dude, that's not deep enough for me. What the hell? And that's true. And then somebody actually goes in depth about something. You're like, oh, you can just say magic is magic, man.
I'm being influenced by the rest of the world. It's too much, baby.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So who's your new favorite sports team then?
I don't have one. I like them all.
There you go. There you go. You sold that well.
No, I didn't, because there's nothing there. It's not starting off as a great episode, is it?
Nope.
Now, eventually, Miss Porter shows up at school, and she starts hatching a plan to get Sabrina into the musical for some bizarre reason, because she's actually Madam Satan. It seems like she's developing this super convoluted plan to get to Sabrina because she's still mad at Sabrina's pop. Seems a little excessive. You could hunt her down somewhere at some point and just, throw a magic missile at her or something.
Well, she is almost a witch. There might be rules for that kind of thing.
I guess there could be. But poor Sabrina has got this really, really pushy boyfriend who wants just to start banging. But of course she can't because she needs to remain pure for her witch's baptism.
Well, sure.
Which, by the way, why would the very embodiment of evil give one crap about purity? Why would that matter in the least?
You answer your own question. Because he's soiling purity.
But she's already born a witch, though. So I mean,
but she still has to make the choice to become a witch, and the sacrifice of the purity is part of the ceremony. It's totally logical.
It's the Mach 5. If you say so. I don't know about magic.
Yes, well, I'm obviously the expert that everyone's looking for in this scenario.
Well, you ain't a science man, so whatever.
Hi, kids. This is Dr. T.O. Morrow with today's comic science moment. Witches ain't science. However, you should know that the science of witchery is less convoluted in Sabrina than it is in actual books called witches. So, there's that, anyway. Thank you, kids. This has been Dr. T.O. Morrow with today's comic science moment.
Sabrina starts yapping with her cousin Ambrose, who has just come by to like hang out or some shit. Just over from England, just having a good time. Don't care. Madam Satan sets up Harvey to fuck up Sabrina's ceremony. There's flying fucking goats everywhere. And finally, Satan himself appears.
Dude, Satan gets cockblocked by a teenage boy. Like, that's fucked up.
That's
you really
crazy,
break
man.
That down.
How would you? When you think about it, that's exactly what happened. I mean, who could think that was possible?
Yeah, you know, like he's just sitting over there, Dark Lord of the Universe.
Like, oh,
Harvey, don't cockblock a bro, Harvey.
That's terrible, but it's a great book, so whatever.
No, awesome. Also, I love the fact that the guy's name is Harvey.
Well, it was the 60s.
Dude.
So he would have been born in the 40s. So.
Wasn't it Harvey Comics that used to do friggin' Little Witches and
yeah.
hot stuff? So
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not why, but it just makes me laugh.
It could be.
Hot stuff and
we don't know.
Little Wendy or whatever getting together.
Yeah, that's right. Wendy. Little Wendy. Whatever the hell her name was. She had an adjective. It wasn't Little Wendy, was it? It doesn't matter.
Shocked that I remembered hot stuff.
Who doesn't remember hot stuff? Anyone born after 1975?
The Dom DeLuise movie?
No.
No, it's totally a Dom DeLuise movie.
I know it is. This ain't the one we're talking about.
Oh, tricky.
Whatever. The FADEOUT 6. Things get kookier and crazier. Poor Charlie. He just can't fucking write anymore. He's having terrible difficulty rewriting scenes, and he gives the directors just total shit for wanting them rewritten. So he says he's just kind of, all right, I rewrote them. Well, this is shit. We'll go back to the original one. Okay.
Well, the problem is, so Harvey isn't really writing so much as he's just copying what Gil is doing for the most part. Like, maybe they began with more of a partnership, but it seems fairly painfully obvious that Harvey is not Harvey. Charlie. Gil is the talent here, and Charlie is the face of the talent. And he's hanging out with freaking movie stars, ridiculously hot production assistants, you know.
Yeah. Who, by the way, Dottie sends him out to be an escort for Maya at this big to-do thing out in this nightclub. Where Dashiel Hammet, you must have been loving that.
You
loved every syllable on there. Where Dashiel Hammet says, "You know what, Charlie? You ought to write comic books." That amused me too, and that would have been a good period, man, because comics were fucking booming post-war, crazy. Well, if he wrote crime comics, he would have made money.
Dashiel Hammet was a very smart guy, also an insane drunk.
Well, I mean, aren't most writers some type of addicts?
I would not know.
Sure. The only reason you're not a writing addict is because you don't write.
That was terrible.
Yeah,
that was so bad. This episode is just plummeting.
Am I? Oh, are we?
Yes. Yeah. Also, not a writer. Dude, this is a hard road right now.
Yeah, well, what can I tell you? It's hot. I'm tired. I don't give a shit. Charlie talks to Jack about Van Camp, and Charlie and Maya sleep together while Gil and Hammett talk powwow.
Go, Charlie. It's your birthday. Here's my thing. Like, the book is phenomenal. I'm really enjoying it. I don't understand Dottie in the slightest.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out her role as well. Because she doesn't...
It reads like she likes Charlie, so she keeps pushing him to be with the actress. Like, and obviously she doesn't think there's a chance that any movie star would go for this dude that she likes.
Yeah.
But so far, Dottie has shown the worst judgment of anyone in this book. And then I'm including the gay guy who ended up killing himself because he wasn't allowed to have his own life. Like, Dottie's making the worst choices possible. Actually, I can't, in all honesty, say that. After that guy. That guy would be the worst choice possible. The suicide guy made the worst decision. Then Dottie. And, of course, all the evil villains. Like, let's just, leaving them out of it. Okay, Dottie's like fifth.
Keep going.
Fifth in poor decisions.
Still, I think Dottie's an okay character.
I almost think that she's evil, just because it's like I can't follow her character. Like, is she going to have some sort of backstory that goes completely differently?
I don't know. These two don't normally do things like that.
That's not true. Surprises happen all the time. Characters you think are going to go one way go another, and she's also the only character they haven't shown some sort of backstory for.
Yeah, but it is only 6 issues in.
Yes, but every other character has had at least some hint of who they were or how they got there.
Well, that is true, too.
She's literally the only character that you haven't seen some hint of her personality outside of her interactions with everybody else.
All right, so it makes sense that she's hiding something.
That's what I'm thinking.
Or at least they're holding it back for maximum effect. Which is, I suppose it's smart. I don't know. Right. Whew. There is a lot that happens in Southern Cross 2 and 3. This thing is jam-packed with shit. So poor Alex here is she finds her roommate's clothes just arranged in this fashion that makes some kind of weird implication that suddenly there was nobody in the clothes anymore. They're just lying on the bed, laid out like somebody just was fucking Yoda and faded the fuck away. Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's what happened.
We don't know what happened. That's
She's very disconcerted by this, so she goes to see the captain, brings her concerns to him, and he just kind of like blows her off. He's like, "I'm fucking busy, lady.
Which is
I run the
totally
whole
valid.
ship." Yeah, he runs the whole ship. He doesn't need this. He's got like a crew to cover things like
Who
this.
remotely thinks they should go to the captain? Like, if you're sharing a room with a complete stranger and you find their luggage set up oddly, the captain is not your first resource for this.
No, you go to the security guy, you go to the porter, you go to almost anybody else.
But you don't go to anybody. Like, oh, they left their clothes on the bed weird, and I haven't seen them
for a day
yet
on a ship.
Yep.
But it's a pretty much sealed environment, so there's got to be some layer of concern.
It's
there.
a big ship. It hasn't even been 24 hours. I'm thinking you probably don't go this route.
Yeah, so she spends some time talking to this guy she met in the calf in the previous issue. And
Is that the doctor?
No.
There's a couple. The guy with the mustache is a doctor. Then there's a guy with tattoos on his knuckles who's a drug dealer.
Yeah.
And then she's also met everyone she meets has a huge she needs to meet just a random Ed. Ed's going off planet because Ed just saved some money up. Needed to see space one time before he died. Ed has nothing to do with any of the procedures or anything else that's going on. We need an Ed.
We could use an Ed. The cafe guy tells Alex, however, that her room has a strange history.
Yeah, that's the doctor.
That is the doctor.
Yeah, remember, because when she talks to him the next time,
all right,
in the next book, she steals his notes.
Yeah. And then she talks to Lon and reads her sister's journal, and then drinks with Lon. And then back in her cabin, she noticed she has this encounter with this.
Oh no, reverse that. You're right.
What?
You were right.
Which
the cafe? Lon is the doctor. The first
that's
the first guy is like a short order cook that somehow has all the insight.
Right. The cafe line guy. Yeah,
because that's the guy you go to for the real friggin' scoop anywhere.
You know what? People talk in line and they don't think you're listening.
See, if I'd known that, the power I could have had in high school if I just cultivated the lunch lady.
No, you'd have to be the lunch lady so everybody spoke their mind because they didn't give a shit about her.
That's mean.
Do you remember a lunch lady's name?
There was Mrs. Guidi.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I don't know a single lunch lady
You're
name.
not a nice person, though.
Oh.
You're a mean geek.
That is the truth. However, I don't see what it's got to do with knowing lunch ladies.
I know one.
You have this memory that's beyond bizarre.
That hurts me.
It's the truth. The truth hurts, motherfucker.
That's true. God, this is terrible.
This is going to be our worst 3-hour episode ever.
Yeah, kids, there's a lot of books, so if you're not enjoying this, buckle in. It's only going to get slower and worse.
He goes to her cabin and encounters this mangled form, this vision of insanity from the depths of the gravitic drive fucking with her brain.
Would you believe that for a hot second?
No.
Okay.
Kind of. I've read crazier science fiction.
Oh, well, this is not science fiction, but I'll get to that in a minute.
Well, so far it's just barely a murder mystery.
Well, you get through both, and then I'll go off.
Okay. I like it when you go off. It makes things easier on me. She brings that to the captain, and this is where the hallucination part from the drive comes up. It's, there's a leak with the gravity. Yeah, whatever. She goes to the gym. She talks to the cafe guy again, who then tells her about Flask, the dead guy from her cabin. She watches the tape of the investigation into Flask's death, and she sees the engineers, or the engineer mate, or whatever the hell he is, Maury, in the engine room, where a vision tells her she dies in 3 days.
A vision of her sister. No, it was the captain she was with.
Captain Maury.
Yeah. Okay, so where are you with this book right now?
Well, I've only got one more of them, so I really don't know. That's 4. And as much as I've been trying to cut most fat from the pull, so to speak, I still want to give this 6, because if it ramps up like the next 2 issues, then that'll be a bonus.
Right.
But it's not blowing my doors off yet.
Well, here's the thing. It's not terrible at all. Like, she's got some dark history with drugs or gangs or something, because she identifies the other guy. Like, there's a lot of dark things going on. It is a little forced that she's meeting all the key characters she needs just walking to her room in the first issue.
Right. That was she met the captain, she met the doctor, she met Lon, she met
the other the lady who I'm not sure what her role is. Like, everyone that she's run into like 3 times.
Well, the roommate was investigating her sister's death,
right? Which was also
and
ridiculous.
Flask, which they think is connected to Flask's death,
which is in the room they were in. Like, it's the most forced thing ever.
It's a bit rough. I mean, it's like, you just happened to be assigned the room your fucking sister was in. This other guy, and now the investigator. Did the investigator, you think, manipulate the cabin assignments to accomplish that?
I didn't get that read on that character in the 4 pages she was on.
Yeah, neither did I. But I mean,
anything
it's not
is possible.
a plot point we can discount easily.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
This is set in space.
Right.
That is it's on a ship. That's the only like. If you set this in the 1800s on a sea ship and it's magic.
It would be no different.
Not one bit. If you set this in the 30s on a train and there's psychic,
no different.
No different. There's not one true bit of science fiction in this entire book.
No, not yet. Not yet. And that disappoints me, because just putting it in space is not enough. Oh, by the way, we're on a converted cargo carrier that's now a space liner that goes to Jupiter. Don't care.
Yeah, no. the ride should not be the selling fucking factor in a science fiction book. Like, yes, the Millennium Falcon is cool, but if your whole movie is like, hey, let's take the Millennium Falcon and get some space shakes.
Space shakes.
I don't want a space shake. That sounds fucking horrible.
Well, I mean, maybe if the space shake was green and minty.
No, true. What, Dad? Stop with the friggin' mint shake hatred. Anyway, the point being, there's
I'm
nothing...
just saying that you might like it.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's all I was saying.
There's nothing about this book that sells itself in terms of that.
No.
She's a likable character. The art style is growing on me.
Yep.
But it feels forced in that everything's happening at such a quick pace.
Yeah, 3 whole issues in, and we find out all this stuff.
Like, this is like a Thin Man movie.
Ah.
You know, like Nick and Nora Charles, speaking of Dashiel Hammet, just go up there like, hey, here's Blackie. Blackie, tell me what's going on. This is what's going on, Charles. Thank you, Blackie. And that's exactly how it goes. It's like, I now know everything I need to get to the next scene. Thank you.
But you know, oddly enough, we were complaining things were taking too long on other books. So where is our balance?
I don't have a problem with things going quickly. This is forced, and there's no arguing that. Like, it's not terrible at all. It's not a bad book. I'm enjoying pieces of it, but you can't, on a ship this big, unless your argument is, of course, well, she also met 8 other people, including your ridiculous Ed character, but we just didn't show that because it wasn't important to moving the scene.
The Ed character is now our official headcanon.
Go, Ed. It's your birthday. Get in space. Do some shit.
No, but I want to like it because I'm a science fucking fiction guy, but it's not.
Yes, but this isn't that.
It's not bringing me that. Yeah, so I'm just like, and it's not soliciting well either. It's not on a good schedule.
No.
So it's a very good candidate for saying bye-bye.
How many? This has to be. Is this a regular series?
It's supposed to be a regular series.
Really? Like for so it's fucking
there's
Twin Peaks because one murder mystery that takes forever.
There is nothing in any of the solicitations that say it's limited, which says to me they're going to go until the sales dip and say, "Hey, we've made our 12 issues. We're closing it."
It was Ed all the time,
and we planned it from the beginning to be a mere 12 issues. To which I say, bullshit.
Screw you guys. I'm going home. No, dude, imagine that if suddenly we get called out. We had this secret character, Ed, who's the murderer, and somehow these 2 random geeks in a podcast that no one listens to figured this shit out. Like, best day ever.
It would be pretty cool. We'd be like, we figured you out. You're a pro. And we did.
Forever, we'd be just guessing that Ed did it.
Eventually, we'll be right. One day. I mean, just the law of averages, it says, motherfucker will be right.
It is to dream.
One of the few things that amuses me about this movie is fucking Lieutenant Dangle is in it.
That dude's amazing.
He's pretty funny. I don't know about amazing. So, Archie versus Predator 2. Now, you convinced me into this. I wasn't originally going to do this.
I did this.
That's what I'm saying. I was originally going to say no.
You did that to Sharknado. I can't believe you didn't order my
goddamn right I did it to Sharknado. There's got to be a limit.
There does not.
There really, really does.
You know what, kids? Tweet in. If you wanted to hear our review of Archie, because if we get enough tweets, he will go out and buy that shit and hand it to me and say, fuck you.
I will, in fact.
Yeah, I know. Like, not even a joke. Like, God damn it, people actually want to hear the fucking Rev and TJ talk about Sharknado versus Archie.
We'll do it.
Yep.
Fine. Whatever. But at this point, in number 2, Pop is killed at the chocolate shop. The cops arrive.
Because he's got a knife to cut cake.
Yeah, for God's sake, that's a little... all right. I'm going to put aside my normal Predator cynicism here.
Okay.
And say...
What normal level of Predator cynicism do you walk around in?
I have it.
Well, of course you do.
You don't know. This is more headcanon.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway.
Because he had the knife. Betty and Veronica escape out the back, and they go to see Sabrina to understand what the dagger Betty has is all about. So, all right. She starts a ceremony, but the Predator kills her ass, too.
Yep.
Because, I mean, magic's a weapon, I suppose. I don't fucking know.
Well, she's holding the knife.
Well, she was. But, I mean, that seems simplistic. It was like...
It's a teen predator, though. So it's
predator.
Instincts are not on par with your full predator. So they've actually explained this.
Now, Betty and Veronica develop a plan to get all the boys to protect them. Including Jughead in drag.
Well, he's the only one who could fit into one of Veronica's outfits.
I suppose. It works. And one of the guys pops a grenade. Where the fuck he got a grenade, I don't fucking know.
Well, Kevin Keller's father, General Keller, brought all the weapons with him.
Did he? Mm-hmm. That's insanity.
Yep. Oh, yeah, because the rest of it was so fucking logical. Yep, Moose and Midge. And
I totally forgot that. I didn't.
Kevin and the General, like, everybody dies.
It's fun enough. I'm not really laughing, and I'm not really shocked. But the ludicrousness of any given situation happening here, like Sabrina getting her spine ripped out, or Jughead in drag, these things tickle me to a small degree, so I giggle and I like it, but it's a good thing it's only 4 issues.
Yeah, no, if this were ongoing, like, this would be a much harder road.
Well, I mean, even if it was 6, I'd be like, you guys are fucking pushing it, man.
It is...
I applaud your attempts at branching out and having a damn good time doing weird shit, but...
This is a gimmick. Like, all Archie books that aren't regular Archie books are a gimmick to a degree.
Well,
like,
yeah.
Archie meets Kiss, which... Going back, now that I'm picking up all these ridiculous Archies I probably should have gotten just for the sheer ridiculousness of that. Kevin Keller and George Takei.
Yeah.
All that ridiculousness. But at the same time, now this is a perfect example of, like, rush the storyline. Like, don't take time developing this. But to me, like, after the success of Afterlife with Archie and Sabrina, I'm always, for the time being, going to give these weird things a second go, because they've hit 2 ridiculous grand slams on subjects that shouldn't have gone anywhere.
And they are thoroughly enjoyable, so you don't want to miss enjoyable stuff. I'm worried how far they're going to go with it.
Well, I feel like Sharknado is, and part of the reason I want to get that one, is that's going to be so bad that it will probably kill this aspect of it.
And that's why I don't want to get Sharknado. So, there you go.
Remember, kids, tweet in if you want your Sharknado review.
I will do it. I will do it.
I know.
Big Trouble in Little China, 11.
Now we got one more issue of Carpenter and Powell's storyline.
And then we'll see what shakes loose with Van Lente.
Which you are more optimistic about.
A little bit. You know,
mostly because you liked him.
Well, yeah, because he was an okay guy. Now, Lopan and Jack are still paying off the bar damages by doing dishes.
Lopan is a poor dishwasher.
He is. Poor Slinky the Demon busts them out. Slinky the Demon busts them out of dishwashing.
Well, he's got all that cool gear that Jack won in a poker game.
Right, all that cool gear that the demons desperately needed to get rid of because it sucks so much.
Yeah, but not, you know, Slinky is like a 3-pound lizard. Like, everything was going to be fucking tempting from his standpoint.
Well, yeah, that's true, too. But they end up totally and utterly, completely annihilating and destroying the bar now. So they're never paying that off. They escape this giant flying thing, and Slinky reveals that he thinks Lopan is after the black serpent's tongue, and explains its cosmological significance.
Dun, 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 dun.
I don't know why I said it like that.
You're dramatic.
A little bit. Lopan makes a deal for it with an elder god, which is never a fucking good idea.
It's Lopan, man. He promises 10,000 souls. Like that's hard to deliver on.
Well, actually, you know, you drop a couple of bombs on one good-sized city, or in any major sporting event, and you're good.
Yeah, Lopan hasn't managed to kidnap one girl and get married yet.
Well, that's true, too. His ineptitude is beyond terrible. He can't do shit. So, all this while, Egg and whatever the kid's name was, they just go play Mahjong. What?
Hey, Mahjong is very
Mahjong is very popular. And
It
I'm
is
sure
quite
they're going to get
addictive.
something out of doing this. But at the moment, it just looks like they're playing Mahjong. So, you know, the secret remains hidden.
As well it should.
Yep. You're still digging this, though, right?
Yeah, it's been a great book.
I've been very happy with it. I don't know what the... I'm still worried. Fred Van Lenny.
I didn't notice. Is the art style changing too? Because as much as I wanted Powell to draw it, I've grown to enjoy Chirilla.
No, he's good. I'm happy with him. I don't mind it at all. This is a bizarro fucking flick.
Yeah, I stop caring. I just look when something explodes, which is every 8 seconds. Big Trouble in Little China is ridiculously good, and it makes me wonder if we should have looked at Escape from New York, like if they could have hit this twice. But it's hard to imagine.
I don't think
that
they're
these
playing
things-
that as a comedy, though.
That's true.
But-
Well, because it wasn't really a comedic movie.
No, they played it very straight. There was several unintentionally hilarious fucking things in it, but they played it pretty straight.
Such a good film. But they did play Escape from L.A. as half a comedy. So
They should have just gone straight up balls to the wall funny. Man, I might have been able to get down with it then. A change in tone that far removed from the original might have been enough to say, yeah, but it was fun.
you mean like they did with Big Trouble in Little China, which you enjoyed so much?
Well, I mean, they tried to be funny in Big Trouble in Little China.
They were funny in that, but you didn't.
I didn't laugh.
So what makes you think you'd laugh at anything they tried?
Escape from... If they went comedy with Escape from L.A.?
They tried, man. There was a lot of comedy in that movie.
It was poor
Pam
comedy.
Grier is a dude. Freaking Bruce Campbell is the Surgeon General.
I totally forgot he was even in it.
Yeah.
I'm not rewatching it to figure this out.
Oh.
If I can't believe that even you have a copy of that.
Not yet, but Netflix is
Don't
always...
spend money just to spite me.
I've done that so many times I can't even count.
And it was wrong all those times. The hell, man. I'll tell your wife on you.
Curses.
Bill's spending money to be a jerk to me. And she's just going, Bill.
That's exactly how that will go, too.
Now, there's a new book coming around called Harrow County by our favorite Cullen Bunn.
Now, where do you put it? Do you put Cullen Bunn above Kieran Gillen or Kieran Gillen above
No. I don't. I am a
Can't
Cullen
quantify.
Bunn fan, but I don't think he's quite made it to Kieran Gillen yet.
Okay.
Not in my brain. You know? I'm not going to tell anybody, yeah, goddamn right, Kieran Gillen's a shit, and Cullen Bunn is just behind him. No, because that's silly.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous.
No, I mean...
They're both amazing writers, but I've got more experience with Gillen, and Gillen has written characters I care about more.
Fair enough.
So, I mean, I like what he's doing with Sinestro. I adored the Sixth Gun, but Iron Man, Loki, Thor, Uber. He's writing. Gillen is writing stuff
Darth Vader.
that is far closer to me than Haint's.
No, I love Cullen Bunn, but yeah, Kieran Gillen is writing amazing books right now.
Now, I want to know, people in the South, if there's 3 or 4 of you below the Mason-Dixon, what the fuck is a Haint? I mean, I get the idea that it's some haunted, ghosty, supernatural thing, but I've read a lot of stuff over the years involving any kind of supernatural shit, watched dozens of movies, many of them placed in the South. Never heard the word Haint before in my life. What the fuck is a Haint?
Ain't got any idea.
It ain't human. Supernatural motherfucker.
Ain't natural.
That's what I said. Now, poor Emmy, I'm just going to jump right in here. Poor Emmy appears to be the reincarnation of a witch her dad and the county citizens hanged and burned years ago.
She might be. They're waiting to see.
Yeah, it seems pretty clear that she's going to end up that way, though. What she does with it is another thing. Although not all the signs are there, there's like calves being born mutants and dead, and she goes out into the woods one day.
Dude, that's when the neighbor comes over, like, that's a lot of dead chickens, bub. Shut up.
Look at the shape of that calf, pal. I don't know. I don't think that's quite natural.
But the other thing is they don't know if the witch is going to come back good or evil. Because in her own death curse, she's like, I might come back to help you. I might kill you all.
But like usual in this origin, she started out good, and then because humans are stupid, eventually they became frightened of her and spiteful, and this came across, and she's like, well, if you're going to be assholes, then fuck it. I'll justify your need for me to be evil. Which is like, you could have just moved away. This is my witch's haunt. This is where I'm going to stay. And I'm going to kill all the townsfolk. What?
Well, I mean, she was eating babies. Like, or feeding babies to evil monsters.
Well,
They make
that's the
that
price
point.
you got to pay.
That's the point they make. They're like, hey, it starts off okay, and then they find out, why are you taking that baby into those woods and come back alone? Not entirely comfortable with that.
Yeah, well, I was going to skip that. There's a price for everything, Hey, how many people did she cure? How many ways? Who knows?
That's totally worth a couple of babies.
It so is.
Tech Jedi has his own interesting ideas on friggin' child rearing.
Hey, this is my headcanon of human
Stop
economics.
saying headcanon. Like, seriously.
No! It's the way I see things.
Yeah, made up.
That's what headcanon is.
I know.
Now, Emmy goes out into the woods one day, and she encounters what is very likely a Haint. The first one she's ever seen. There's some bullshit southern version of a random malevolent spirit. I don't know what they're calling it. But she finds eventually, crawling through all the brush and brambles and shit, the empty skin of a boy. And she packs it up and takes it home.
What? Dude, you can't, Alright,
what?
You're just not thinking as a collector. I own a lot of weird shit. If I found an entire boy skin in a bramble of thorns, that shit's coming home with me.
You are a liar.
Damn straight, man. What are the chances?
You'd have a heart attack right then.
First off, yeah, but I eat a lot of pork. Secondly, what are the odds you're going to find a second one?
Pretty low, but who are you going to sell it to?
You don't need to sell it. You need to hold on to that shit. That's pretty cool that you found that jewelry with your metal detector at the beach, Bob. I got a little boy's skin that I found in the middle of a bramble. Admittedly, you got arrested,
yeah.
But your nerd cachet just shoots way up.
I don't know about that. Maybe from the
goth nerds.
Well, okay, or maybe the assholes that watched Ghost hunting.
Ghost hunting, yeah.
A couple of nihilists, maybe.
Yeah. Dude, and then the ball rolled for 9 feet by itself. Really? I got a little boy's skin in the back room. You're not impressing me with your rolling balls. Exactly. See, now you're cooking with gas.
Yeah, I understand.
There's also the one-page origin of the boy in which he's like, I fear water. Let's baptize him. And the lake eats him. Suck day. Dude, imagine being the southern mom. Wait, I gave you my boy to baptize and you lost him in a lake? You couldn't hold on to a little boy in a lake?
It's not like there's currents in there.
You were baptized, you were 2 feet in. I can see you right now. You don't have wet nipples. The water was not up to your nipples. How did you lose a boy in water that's not up to your goddamn nipples? I'm just saying, it must have been an awkward conversation.
It had to have been. She's like, next time I'm doing that shit myself.
Yeah, I mean, imagine you sitting there, you got a little...
I can say Dominus Omus Dunk.
Yeah,
just as good as you can.
You got a cake, you got bug juice set up out there, you're all excited. It's like, Bob's mom is in from Denver. She flew out from Denver for this baptism. And you're telling me that a lake ate my boy. My boy was lake eaten. Eaten by lakes.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, I'm converting.
Consumed.
That's what I'm telling you.
What are you going to be? Jewish?
Hey, you know what?
They don't baptize.
Nobody gets eaten by a lake. That's all I'm telling you.
You do got to lose your flat.
Yeah, Martha.
So that's our bit of supernaturalness.
I enjoyed it.
Leads into another bit of supernatural.
What did you think of the art?
You know, when they use those little dots for eyes, and then they go back to regular eyes, it disconcerts me.
When I first opened it and I saw the cartoony style, I'm like, what the hell? But I thought...
But there's also an atmosphere to it.
Oh, such a good one. Like the tree, the creepy-ass tree.
Shit, yeah.
I'm looking at that thing, I'm like, I hate this fucking tree. Like, that was in my yard. I'd be outside with an axe every day. Like, what do you do when you get home? Killing that tree. You've been doing that for 3 years. It's a haunted tree. What's it done? Look at it. It's never done a goddamn thing, but you look at that and tell me that
and I'm going to make sure it ain't going to do nothing.
Now,
that tree is fucking creepy.
Right.
But she's supposed to, the text says that she's supposed to be on the cusp. Put that hat back on correctly. She's on like the cusp of womanhood. And I'm like, I don't want to know that. I hate that phrase. It creeps me out.
Well, that's no different than Sabrina.
Yeah, but nobody's
What's
ever...
What's creepy about cusp? Or are you creeped out by womanhood?
No, it's just a weird word, man.
Cusp?
Yeah.
Does crust bother you?
A little bit.
Moist?
No, not so much.
Juicy?
No, definitely not.
Svengali?
No, I enjoy that one.
Now I'm just making shit up. Like, you know,
I
started with creepy words and it slowly just, you know. What about Ted?
Nah.
No one's bothered by Ted.
Nobody cares about Ted.
Meanwhile, one of our listeners, because that's our luck, is like, Ted's the most terrifying word in the entire world. What's wrong with you people?
I don't know, but it's hard to tell that where she sits age-wise, because they go from regular eyes to dot eyes, and she goes from running around. And, you know, doesn't this kid have a job on the farm?
It's only her and her dad, so she's probably got about 35 of them.
Yeah, but she's got all this time to run around finding Haint skins.
Well, I mean, you still have some free time. But the other aspect of it is you're thinking, like, if your family lived on a farm and your dad needed a lot of shit done, you'd be like, do this, do this, do this. However, if you owned a farm and your daughter, oh my God, a Bud Light reference, really? Might be some superpowered evil witch thing, maybe you'd pull back on the do this a little bit. Like, gosh, I could use some help pulling in the calves tonight. Red rum. I'll do it myself. Have another cookie.
I shouldn't make her resent me. Ew. Why would you drink warm Bud Light that just came out of a wreck?
But you shot out of a robot's asshole like you drink any goddamn alcohol that was nearby. I got half a Miller High Life. Give me.
It's been open for 3 days. It's all right.
Give it to me now.
It's okay.
All I'm saying is,
is it still bubbly?
If your daughter is possibly some sort of witch antichrist, the chore list is probably a lot smaller.
Yeah, that could be.
I think that definitely is, man. That's pure, unadulterated logic, as far as I'm concerned.
So we got Afterlife with Archie 8, and it's about bloody time, because that shit took forever. So this whole issue is nothing but moral quandary, as everyone tries to figure out if they should abandon poor Cheryl Blossom, who is now Blaze, if we remember properly.
Well, she's still making out better than she did in Archie versus Predator.
She is, because she dead. That girl dead.
She dead as hell.
Now Archie, this is a neat one. Archie has this, like, The Shining moment with fucking Jughead at a bar. That is straight out of...
Yep.
That's Jughead's, Jack Torrance right there.
Jughead's ghost arrives for Christmas.
Cheryl confides her past to the girls, or at least Veronica, right?
No, it's all the girls.
It's all of them. And it all comes down to a vote, where Archie's mom tells the tale of the sacrifice to the Greendale witches to keep Riverdale safe. Timing be damned, Archie proposes to Betty.
Dun 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 dun.
Brum.
Let's not forget, we also see the ghost of what appears to be Jughead's little sister.
I didn't remember Jughead had a little sister.
Well, I don't know if it's a character that was created to be sacrificed and didn't actually exist, or if, let's be honest, there could be 40 Archie characters that we don't know shit about.
Yeah, that is the truth.
Like, did you know the friggin' twins?
Cheryl and what's his I knew Cheryl. I didn't know their brother. But Cheryl had her own book for a while. So
I see. I'm completely unfamiliar with anything past like when I was 7 till now.
Well,
basically.
I read this shit. I don't read the books. There's articles occasionally, and there's like the history of this comics and the era of comics and this history and blah blah blah. There's Overstreet things that tell you, oh, then this Archie print run was this big because it was sold in supermarkets, so every kid saw one when they were checking out. Nobody likes to admit it, but Archie was for like decades like the number 3 publisher.
Dude, I mean, we've all read them. We've all, stood there in a supermarket line and flipped through a digest or had, But, I mean, I don't know now, but back when comics were less, there weren't as many.
Yeah.
And you couldn't necessarily, most supermarkets had them, but you might not get to go through those. But when you're in line, right by the, you could totally grab a digest and flip through that when your mom wasn't looking.
Oh, yeah. So, there we are. I'm going to skip Odyssey 5, because I don't care about that book anymore.
As if you ever did.
No, honestly, I wanted to try with number 1. I wanted to see what they would do and could do, and it just turned out to be overwrought horseshit. And that's my view, and that's where I'm leaving it. Rebels number 2. Now, this is not Star Wars Rebels.
That's true.
Sorry to disappoint a couple of you there. This is the Revolutionary War. Now, Ethan Allen and the Green Mountain Boys raid a loyalist camp, and that goes about as well as expected because they're guerrillas and the redcoats are just assholes. So it's a resounding victory. Seth has left Mercy in the cabin alone, but returns exhausted and bedraggled. This, of course, makes her very, very angry. Because she's like, you won't get your ass killed, and I won't be stuck here by myself in the woods.
Well,
with
that's
all this work to do, and no one to fall in love with, and get the fuck out. Stay home, you asshole.
That's not entirely accurate. She was fine. You gotta give her credit. She was fine with him localized. But now he's like, we're all joining together and it'll be a full war. And she's like, wars take a long ass time. Like, we got married a week ago. You've been gone for 7 out of the 7 days that we've been married. Let's be very clear about this. I agreed to not being under British rule in my house. I did not agree that you should save Florida. Yes, I know it wasn't a 13th colony.
Yeah, Georgia, whatever. Yeah, that's all covered by they're discussing his going off with Alan again. And now at Grand Isle on Lake Champlain, the boys execute a raid on barges with stone for a new fort. And although it's kind of dicey for a little bit, they come through. So that was a pretty good sequence. I enjoyed that one.
Oh yeah, they built the tension on the boat up really well.
Yeah.
Like, it's a great book. 2 issues in, and I'm very captivated with Rebels.
Which is good. Because
About
I'm
time.
paying for that. It all boils down to money, motherfucker.
Always has, probably always will.
Now, I'm digging on the art. It's kind of, I don't want to say moody, but it's definitely not like bright and clean and Archie.
No, very much so. It has a neat style. It works pretty well. Part of the problem in being an older comic book fan is that you have a tendency in your head a little bit to go back and always imagine things like the classic Marvel style or the classic DC, things drawn to look a certain way, because that's what everything was for the first
ever.
Yeah, I mean, when we used to, we both started reading probably around 75, 76.
No. If you remember, I didn't touch one until 85.
Oh, that's right.
You forgot all about that shit.
But you never saw one in like a library or anything like that?
I mean, I saw them on lunchboxes.
Oh, okay.
I questioned in third grade. I questioned my my pal Michino about who is this orange Rocky Hulk guy, and he's like, "No, that's the thing, man."
But you knew who the Hulk was.
I knew who the Hulk was because of TV.
Ah.
I may have known him because of cartoons. I don't clearly remember.
Oh, good point. But yeah, like everything had like a clear, and that, like you occasionally had an artist like Sienkiewicz who stepped out of that style a little bit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a common thing. And now there are so many different art styles, which is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely right.
But, it's harder sometimes to relate to every art style within every book.
Yeah. Like, the Archie style wouldn't fit this at all. Not to belabor a point. But, Sienkiewicz could probably get away with it.
No, Sienkiewicz can do anything. The real trick is if it looks good enough, you're like, it works for me.
Absolutely right. Kevin Nolan, though. Or was it Brett Blevins?
Brett Blevins.
Brett Blevins. You that motherfucker.
Your favorite.
Ugh. I wouldn't get his shit signed if you paid me. No, that's terrible. That's not true at all. I've never seen him on a list to go to a convention.
Well, it's because he doesn't want to get stoned.
So is it? You made Magneto have jowls in New Mutants 50. What was wrong with you?
What made you think that was real hair, Brett?
It does get a little excessive. But, so yeah. Now we get some science fiction that is much, much closer to science fiction. With Descender 3. Oh, adore this book.
Dude. Driller is awesome.
Driller's the best robot ever.
Driller is a real killer. Like, kick ass, Driller.
Now, at this point, if you remember, Tim has been damaged. And he's dreaming because something. He's getting his memories back. He's getting backups restored to his main memory. And maybe that's kicking off the dreaming, and maybe the dreaming is an independent thing.
Well, the dreaming has to be at least partially an independent thing because this obviously is not an experience he actually had.
Right.
We're all the robots that got destroyed while you were sleeping, and you must save us all. Like, I'm the equivalent of a 6-year-old boy. I want to pee motor oil and hide under the bed till you all go away, broken robots.
Now, eventually, coming around, the big driller robot tries to help his ass. Doesn't do a great job because he doesn't know how to help a dreaming robot boy because he drills things. It's not his design parameters.
I love this robot. I don't speak dogbot. Like, I love this robot so much.
During all of this, Dr. Tullis, Tim's developer, and Telsa, corporate government hack, exposit on the way to find Tim. Now, maybe she's... I wrote that down. Maybe she's not a hack. I don't know.
Well, she's very mean to the scientist, but at the same time, he's like, how did you get this gig? Because they wouldn't hand this to any... because she's a captain. Like, they wouldn't hand this to any thug. We'll get to that later. She's not giving anything away. So she obviously has some storyline depth that we're unsure of.
Yeah. So Driller intercepts them, and there's a fight, and poor Driller gets disabled.
Not permanently, though.
No.
He's
just enough to get him out of the action so nobody ends up dying up in here.
Yes.
They take possession of Tim, who's still dreaming of the Harvester robots.
The Harvested.
Harvested. Oh, yes, that's correct.
The Harvesters destroy the robots.
Yeah. And there's a couple of pages... I see. There's a couple of pages where Tullis questions the dreaming aspect of Tim's visions, so to say.
Well, he tells him point blank, like, look, I built you, dude. You don't dream.
I didn't write that kind of shit into your software, man.
So what was it?
You doing?
You're on your own with that.
It's your brain. You figure it out.
No, this is a cool book. There's a lot of... You can see pieces of other movies and whatnot because, of course, you can see anything and anything. But it's going places I haven't seen before. It's mixing ideas well. I like all the characters, both good and bad. I like them as characters. I want to see what happens next. Even, the guy flying the ship who's barely spoken is at least kind of interesting. And when you make a robotic dog interesting and not Daggett,
I was surprised you remember the thing's name.
I found whenever the last time I went to the barn was, I found a dollar copy of the Marvel printing of the original Battlestar Galactica. So I flipped through that. That's the only reason.
That's hilarious. You flipped through,
I don't
found the
even-
word Daggett, and remembered that shit for future reference.
Well, I had it when I was a kid, so when I saw it, I did remember it, but that was it.
Let's take a quick break.
You got
Right. Here we are. Shadow is not being talked about right now. You need to put that book down.
fine, big baby.
We left off with Rebels 2, Descender 3. Off to Outcast 9. Only 3 issues remain before I give it up and kick it to the curb and slab it so when the TV show comes out I can make $1 trillion.
I thought this was a pretty decent issue.
Overall, we see the results of what happened at the gas station, and it becomes obvious the demons are either in everyone, or at least it's no effort to take over anyone.
Well, demons are going to have... Actually, no, I'm going to disagree with that.
Oh?
Because there's obviously circumstances that are required for demons to take over. And that's revealed by the fact that you have the one demon trapped in the little old lady who's getting sicker and older.
Right.
And
Well, I don't think there's anything indicating that it was any easier for her to get possessed than anybody else.
The point I'm making is that the demon couldn't switch out comfortably, and you had to grab the they know that old people are not tempting, but you have to grab the vessel that you can grab. So there's obviously it's not as simple as just walking up like, hey, you, me, pledge.
All right, I suppose there's a validity to that idea. Where was I? Sydney, demon neighbor, speaks to the old demon lady, noting the encounter with Pastor and Kyle. She tries and fails to steal some life force or whatever from his ass, which is a shame for him because the demon inside the old lady, that is, assuming it's a him.
Right.
Because now he's just going to die and leave that much sooner. Pastor and Kevin or Kyle or whatever the fuck his name is are looking for Sherry, and I don't remember who the fuck she is.
I don't have the falsetto for that.
Sherry baby. Neither do I. They end up finding her in an alley and run her into a basement, and then they exorcise her. But not before she reveals the demons actually need him, but not why they need him.
And the fact that they really don't care for him.
And as an end result,
She dies.
the exorcism kills her. Or
That is
maybe
the
it was the
implication.
demon possession. Or maybe it was her heroin addiction. We don't know. She dead.
Well, we know that he can force a demon out, and we know that that doesn't do good things to the human body.
No, it doesn't. And these cats just adore this book bag. I don't get it. It's just a book bag, kitty.
Well, it's just the one. The other one never does that.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
They probably smell the other 4,000 cats that have pissed on it.
could be. Now, we got 2 issues of fan favorite Uber sitting here. And by fans, I mean us. They're still testing HMS Churchill's limits, strengths, and ways to get her into battle. She could throw a tank and kill cows from 20 miles away.
That was pretty fun. Like, this was actually... he actually talks... because I know you don't read the back matter. He actually talks about how this was almost comedic.
I do.
Well,
In that
Uber,
one.
you do.
Yeah, because it's short. I got other books to get to. I don't know what you're doing with your day. Yeah, she's Fake Hitler discusses some logistics.
Fake Hitler.
In Russia, Maria
Hitler.
has... Huh?
Fitler.
Fitler? Fatler.
Fatler.
Fatler. Over in Russia, Maria's been feeding people excreting her protein. And and messing with her new Uber recruits, which amused me terribly. She's like, "We're going to march 30,000 miles." No, we're not. We're just going to we're just going to hang out. What? She takes them east somewhere. Now, back in England, turns out Churchill was phobic of heights, which is really going to fuck up an airborne delivery of the... I don't want to look. I'm talking Uber. You're going to make me look at this shitball movie again. Where was I? Yeah, Dunkirk shows her some sympathy, which is nice, and he gets her to do it. She succeeds and makes a gigantic crater. Oh my goodness, that's a healthy person. She makes a crater. Over in France, Siegmund I and who?
I don't know. I feel like the German Ubers are getting the short shrift of late.
Yeah, they really are. There's absolutely nothing is going on with them. They don't talk about Siegmund anymore. They don't talk about Siegmund. They don't talk about Siegfried. It's all...
Roy.
No. There's no Roy. No.
There's a Roy.
No, there is no Roy. Stop it. Stop it right now. They tour some destruction, which I don't get. It's like, really? Let's just walk around and see what broke. What? That doesn't make... Why would they bother with that? Tell me why they bother. You're the brilliant one. You tell me why they do that.
I didn't understand that in the slightest.
What the hell is that cat doing with my shoe? She's like scratching her head with my shoe. You own one bizarre cat, dude.
That's true.
Anyhow, that was all 24. I really enjoyed it. The moments between Dunkirk and Churchill were very nice. They were very human.
Dunkirk just became like my favorite character in Uber. When he looks at the corporate guy, he's like, "This is why I hate this, because I can't punch people like you anymore." Like, he's awesome. And Churchill, like, being scared of heights and like, you have to let me go. You're breaking my hand. Like, so many cool moments.
Completely indestructible, but she's scared of heights.
Or was it like, "Can we please dress her?" Like,
that was a crazy moment. It's like, a little human decency, would you, assholes? I know we're trying to win a war, but this is just ridiculous. How about some?
And the moment when Turing points out that he knows that she messed with the processing.
Oh, yes.
Of her.
Yes,
there's a lot. There were still really cool moments in this, even though like not a lot happened per se.
Right.
But
there's not a lot of advancement.
Awesome. And then 25 starts right up with the first attempt at figuring out how to move Churchill, which is or was that the beginning of this one?
That's the beginning of this one.
That was absolutely hysterical. Let's put wings on her and push her up a ramp and see if she flies. Is an absolutely asinine idea.
Over in 25, they shift over to Japan, and there's a new batch of Miyoko. The Blitzmensch arrive on Okinawa, reinforcing the nearly starved troops there. They run raids and plug defensive holes, but, and you knew this shit was coming, the American Panzermen show up, ruining what little Japanese resistance is left.
Wearing cool sunglasses.
Wow, you're not going to work with that one?
I was trying to come up with a CSI Miami sunglasses.
That would have been terrible.
What made the Japanese Superman die? Was it the house of the rising sun? Oh. See, I couldn't get a good one, though.
Nah, that wouldn't have worked at all. You should have resisted that.
I give in to temptation. That's why I'm who I am.
Everyone but the Colonel and the oldest Miyoko just die. And the Colonel...
did you get the reference to that? There's a subtle thing that I think will play somewhere.
The Colonel commits seppuku, and the Corporal
is forced to
words
survive
back to Japan.
Right. Well, no, he
Takes the
ends up
news
going to Germany.
Did he?
Yes, they tell. Well, I suspect Germany. They're like, we're not going to Japan. Roads. We don't need roads.
Yes, you are correct in that.
But there's a moment. How
now.
do you say?
Miyoko.
Miyoko.
Miyoko. I don't know.
Japanese super guy.
Yes.
There's a moment where he's talking, and he knew, he wanted to be a writer, and he got this, and he knew he was doomed because when they were testing him, the machine blew up.
Right.
So, to me, the implication of that is this guy is way more powerful
than anyone really suspects.
Exactly, which is why they save him and send him off.
Would the Colonel have known that, though? Maybe, I guess.
Either way, the implication to me is of that. Whether or not the Colonel did that for that reason, or just like, well, you're a writer, you could probably explain how we died heroically best. Who knows?
Well, yeah.
But I don't think they just tell the story of the machine breaking randomly for no reason. So I think this guy has hidden super depth.
Could very well be. I'm looking forward to finding that out. Nothing makes sense in this flick. Nobody is getting hit.
It's like Heat at this point with robots. Giant car robots.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Dinosaurs and Stanley Tucci, nothing.
The dinosaurs still haven't shown up yet. They appeared frozen in the first scene.
The dinosaurs have shown up in several scenes, but not the dino robots.
Oh, well, there they are now.
There you go. See?
What do you know? They're still not making any fucking sense. Look at them. It's ridiculous.
You want to know what's truly terrifying about this movie, though?
Huh.
Another half hour.
Oh, my fucking God. And it's already been 2:12. Jesus Christ.
At least it's short.
It's not short. Saga 28. Now, Sophia and the Bran are roasting marshmallows and talking death. Because, like you do.
Yeah, well, of course.
What? Halvor, family to the Will's dead Spider Girl, shows up. What? What's left of the family, Alana, Hazel, Mom, et al., whatever, are taken to the terrorist revolutionary last... What the hell did they even call themselves? Terrorist. The Last Revolution?
I don't know. I didn't pay attention.
Whatever. They get taken to the terrorist ship, and Alana tries to get the janitor to change allegiance, but he waffles. Like you do.
Well, he being a rocket scientist and all.
Goose and Yuma talk, but they're interrupted as the ship from King Robot intercepts them, dropping an ultimatum. Holy shit, there's a lot goes on in this book. Well, every single page, there's something different that happens.
And you meant the death of a B character.
Yeah, Yuma eventually has to go out Spock style.
High as fuck,
repairing the engine so they can get away. So, why does one robot have to ride another robot? It just doesn't make any fucking sense.
Well, yeah, that's the biggest logic point of this movie. No, Goose has become my favorite character. Like, that dude is
Goose is pretty cool.
He's awesome. He's the best half otter shepherd ever.
Half otter, half baby harp seal.
Like, he's an adorable thing with an axe and a dark past.
And
he's everything Wicket wanted to be.
Oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to last. This is so convoluted. They just move forward just a tiny bit more. Just a little bit.
You know what? The cool thing about Saga is that when it ends a storyline, it ends the storyline. So
yeah, that is the truth. But I'd like this one to end as well. So very soon.
It's not going to, because we know that it's going to be years before she sees her father again. So.
Crap. You had to remind me of that.
That's what I do.
Ugh. But it's fun. And Witches 6 comes in. Yuck. That's not fun.
Is it?
Oh my God, I got a third of a page of what happens in this fucking book, man.
Go for it.
No! Dad finds Sale, and he finds a new type of witch in the process, who attacks him, quite naturally.
Well, sure.
He opens fire and sets flares, and they get out, but they aren't safe yet. They get home, where witch-controlled townies assault the house, and in one fuck of a twist, turns out Mom is the one that pledged Sale.
Yeah.
Like, you motherfucker.
Because the witches were coming.
so she could be healed. The benefit of pledging Sale was that so she could be healed, justifying it in that, you know, we'd forget Sale ever existed and we could have another fucking kid anyway. That's so horrifyingly mercenary. That's scarier than any of these bargain basement fucking mutant whatever the fuck they are. Because essentially, I mean, what do? They eat you. Big fucking deal.
Well, yeah.
I mean, every monster eats you, for fuck's sake. There's nothing unique about witches except the method they choose to fucking eat you.
Okay,
with.
that's true.
I mean, come on. But a mother saying, I want to walk again, and I'll never know I had a kid, so I'll just have another one anyway.
No, that's not true.
That's exactly what I read.
That is not. She was worried for the husband because she grew up in the town. She knew about the witches. And his anger was calling them, and she could sense them appearing. She got out of the town, wanted nothing to do with it, but she could tell that something in his mind makeup was the kind of thing that brings the witches to people. So they were getting closer and closer. So she figured the best way to get him away from that was to, you know, she's had the car accident, which caused her injury, and lost her the baby, thinking that would be enough of a sacrifice to the witches to leave them alone, but it wasn't. So she's already killed the child, so to speak. So now she's going to pledge their daughter because she loves her husband so much and they can have more kids.
That had a lot more depth in it than I remember reading.
Because you're not enjoying it, so you're like, just whatever. Like, fucking, you're an evil mom. It happens. Like, when, you know.
I didn't get half of that out of that fucking book. Sale saves the day, of course, by using the garden hose to spray pledge juice on everyone else.
But here's the thing, like, and meanwhile they keep interspersing to a book signing conversation the dad's having about how Sale is his hero with the mom there from 2013. So I'm assuming it's before this.
Yeah.
But nothing like this feels like the end, but nothing actually happens to resolve it. So obviously there's more.
Yeah. So how does she get out of a pledge just because the other pledges her
Pledge
benefit
is
to her benefit to the pledge is pledging the others? What?
Pledged is pledged.
Yeah, whatever. Fucking go dust your end table with some pledge, you motherfuckers.
I'm so like it's kind of confusing. There are good ideas in this book, but I am not loving it enough to care.
No, not really.
And the art style is confusing.
It is. It's hard to keep track of that shit. Jock has done a wonderful job on many, many, many other books.
He's highly stylized, and that works. And it suits this book because it's fucking creepy looking.
It is.
But yeah, I'm often confused by it.
You got to pay a lot of fucking attention. Attention that I don't feel warranted myself.
Well, that's the real problem with it. You're like, whatever, I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Masks 2 made me feel the same way, however.
Oh, dude, you know what? The first Mask, I'm like, oh, this is going to be okay. And then...
No, it wasn't.
Suddenly it's set in present time?
I don't know why. I thought it was in 78, though.
Oh, maybe, but...
Because it clearly said that big masquerade where the cat and the Black Fury or whatever the fuck her name is,
Miss Fury, Catman.
That definitely happened. She wasn't Catmandu, was she?
I don't know. I just made that up.
I thought she was a black cat.
I just said Catmandu because I fucking didn't care.
Yeah, like I didn't either. They face off, taking a break in the middle of it all to team up and beat some henchmen and swap origins. I suppose that's not overly dumb.
They're both the granddaughters of previous female superheroes who happen to meet simultaneously.
That's bizarre. That doesn't fit. It's then, and only then, that they realize the entire goddamn club is dead. And that's when the spider and the whatever the devil chick is show up.
Dude, it's so confusing again. Like,
yeah, it's like, what?
Should have kept this smaller.
I don't know what to say about this book. It bored me, and I don't care.
And it's Colin Bunn is an incredibly talented writer, but you can't. And I'm sure he's going to go interesting places, but you can't have this many fucking characters and not push
the limits of storytelling.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
And not even in the good way. It's like, you're reaching, buddy.
As they push the limits of storytelling to new highs. No. That's not what we're saying.
They pushed it off to the side a little bit is what they did. So, I know that next are 2 issues of a book you're enjoying the fuck. I know it.
Okay.
I'm absolutely certain of it. Frankenstein Underground 2 and 3 are dear to you, aren't they?
I was a little disappointed.
Aw. I was so certain.
Well, 3 helped a lot. 3 was really good. 2, with its convoluted back and forth history,
right?
And he's falling into the center of the earth, and he's underwater, and then town, like, there's so much going on back and forth, and it's not clearly lineated.
No, it took effort to determine which parts of the story were happening when, and even why. That's just ridiculous. Get out of the goddamn car.
There were a couple of moments where, like when he's in the church and he's praying and the priest starts whacking him.
Yeah, that was amusing. He's like, hey, I'm just trying to be all spiritual. I haven't broken anything. I haven't yelled. There's nobody dead. Just leave me be, baby. And he's like, no, you are demon and abomination. Whack, 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 whack.
So yeah, I felt like the transition from the first issue to the third one was, the second issue was a rough read. Like if you pick that up by yourself, you're like, what the fuck? Because how many times have you missed the first one, you had to buy the second?
Oh, tons of times.
Imagine this was that scenario.
Ugh. That would confuse the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Because there's this giant crustacean dragging him deep in the waters of hell, populated by demon pterodactyls, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, you just... You know what? Let's go to Austria in 1855, where he stumbles into that church and gets beat, like we said.
Right.
So make up your mind. What?
In the end, they reveal it's not actually hell, but they're inside the center of the earth, which was a huge belief in Civil War time that you could go down there and hang out.
Yeah, all the way up till the 20s, really.
Yeah, Soames was a real person.
Yep.
So the Heliotype. So he meets what appears to be the remnants of people from a expedition into the center of the earth that was not Vern successful. And no, I don't mean, Vern from Ernest Saves Christmas.
Yes, Jules Verne. Yeah, I'm with you.
Not everyone would have been.
Well, that's true, unfortunately.
But the fact of the matter is, and I thought that, once those guys came in, they were a little bit weird. They seem to, they have unique powers. The scientist wants to study him. The leader of the expedition is now the master. Which
is never good. Anytime you whip out the title master, that's never a cool thing.
He just touches Frankenstein and he falls over. So there were some neat aspects of that, and then you've got all the most of the expedition died, and that's the zombies walking around, because the last issue just had random zombies for no reason.
Yeah, now we find out they're the pseudo survivors of the expedition.
And then there's this weird mystical woman who's walking Frankenstein out, and then he's surrounded by the zombies who want his help.
Yeah, there's ghouls, zombies, undead. They speak, so they can't be... They are animated corpses, but they're animated corpses who appear to have kept their mental faculties.
Yep.
To some small degree.
Well, are they zombies? Are they the trapped spirits? One of the cool things about what Mignola does is he's always had multiple levels of undead things. Yeah. And that sounds really stupid, multiple levels of undead things.
There is definitely a hierarchy of undead.
He's put a lot of research into it and found different variations and ghosts and... if you go back all the way to the Wolves of St. August with the werewolf ghost girl,
yeah,
he gets some spooky shit out of this, but you never know what he's going to come up with. I enjoyed the third one. The second one was definitely, when I was reading that, I'm like, what in the fuck?
Yeah, the second one was really rough to follow, and just it didn't kick in and really make you go, well, shit, gotta have number 3.
Yep. No,
but number 3 is much more linear and clear, so it gets a pass.
No, once 3 came about, I definitely enjoyed it. But yeah, while I was reading it, I was 2. I was like, oh god.
Now, even more Mignola goodness is Cult of the Red King, Baltimore. Cult of the Red King, number 1. Now, in 1920 Rome, Baltimore's current team are investigating a ruined church and burst in on some scholar who's the keeper of the blasphemers' library, wretched trove of hidden knowledge owned by the church. Which I suppose, I mean, if you got to call it anything, blasphemers' library is as
It works.
decent an appellation as can be expected. You like that?
Yes.
Appellation. Where was I? I
They
got
burst into the
carried
library.
away. They want the name of the city the Red Cult began in, because obtaining that, and in obtaining that, they realize they have to go to Carthage. That's what I was looking for.
Ah, there you go.
Baltimore and Childress are on a ship with Sophia, and she dresses down Baltimore for not recognizing Childress's devotion. And if you read any of the other Baltimores, you know that Childress is like, he's my boss, I look up to him, I'm dedicated to him. But Baltimore is just kind of like, I want to kill that fucker. I want to kill Haggis, I want to find him, and I want to wipe him the fuck out. That's what I'm concerned with.
All my past is my past, and I don't pay any attention to it.
Now there's this weird character on the boat named Zoya, and she sleeps with Childress.
Well, isn't that gypsy girl from the previous Baltimore?
I don't remember. See, Zoya, I know her name because it's written down several times. But the rest of them notice demons in the sea. Did I get that right?
The rogue priest. The problem I have with Baltimore is that all these characters I don't remember at all. But you've got these scarred priest characters just sitting there going, yeah, there are demons in the sea. Don't you see them? And the other people are like, yes, we totally see them, Father Freak Out. Just have a Xanax and calm the fuck down.
They pop a quick page or two back to Baltimore's origin, and suddenly the sea freezes solid. And the team decides, well, we can't stay on the fucking ship because
don't forget the
frozen demon motherfuckers.
The floating jellyfish lanterns.
That's right. Weird.
No, it's good. The whole team thing with Baltimore still hasn't been explained.
No, they just, book to book, they just give him varying numbers of teammates.
And are those 3 guys teammates or not? Because
the ones over in Carthage?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're part of the team.
Because you don't see them again other than there.
You mean in previous ones?
Or this issue.
Well, that's why I say his current team.
Oh, so you're saying there's 2 timelines here.
No, well, they're split up, but he hasn't had as large a team in other books.
No.
So you got to figure that the roster has rotated, so to speak.
Yeah, it's Baltimore and the Outsiders at this point.
It's terrible. But yes, absolutely correct.
Well, it's almost exactly the same thing. A guy who's
really
literally famous for working by himself, not liking teams, suddenly out of nowhere puts together this ragtag group of freaks that you've never heard of. You're not seeing any parallels here at all.
Oh, yeah, of course. I know. Yeah. Katana, Looker, Batman,
Halo.
Geo...
Mancer.
Centric.
The
fuck was that guy's name?
Geode.
No, it wasn't Geode.
Vibe.
Whatever, the guy from Malarkia, or whatever the fuck is...
Malkovia.
Or was it Markovia?
I don't know, I just make the shit up as I go and see if you agree with me.
Fucking fake DC countries. Jesus. Anyhow, so that all happens in this book. I enjoyed it, but I was thoroughly confused at points.
It has gotten... I know we're reading every Baltimore that comes out, but it feels like we're missing key ones.
Yeah. He's just like, you know what? I'm going to pick this story from 1920. Here's the story from 1919.
I wonder sometimes if ever, because there's so many crossover pieces, has it stuff in Witchfinder, the second one that we didn't read, or
But it turns out-
BPRD, like, are there storylines that Baltimore showed up in that we don't know things?
Maybe. I think there's probably at least one Baltimore I don't have. I gotta look them up. I don't know. At any rate, there's Invisible Republic 3 to deal with.
Ah.
Now, Croger Bab. Man, it's the evolution of names into the future of humanity just kills me sometimes, man.
Well, because there's no logic to it.
Nah, there really isn't. Why would you just randomly put a C in front of a perfectly good name like Roger?
Because his name is Croger.
No.
People they need to be more individualistic with names. I interviewed somebody who, with 2 Z's in their name and a Y.
Why?
I didn't name him.
It could be Kroger, I guess.
Kroger.
But either way,
Kroger's pawn.
he's this journalist, and he's hanging out a window because of the events of last issue. And there's an unknown person offering help for Bab's bag, which has, if you remember, McBride's journals and Bab's story in them. Not wanting to lose this, of course, he lets it drop, and the guy goes after it, and Babs loses him. Both. The guy...
But he has it at the end somehow.
Eventually.
Yeah, he finds it in a sewer, and the guy's still looking for it, which made no sense to me.
There's a quick flashback again to Arthur and Maya arguing about killing that soldier they confronted. Bab gets caught up in what's essentially a food riot, but gets his bag back. That's what happened. He found it during the riot. Like I think he just stumbled right over it, didn't he?
It really wasn't very clear, because like the implication I had in the previous pages threw me, because it seemed like the guy had it and was in the ship, the way they drew it and the way it was written, and then suddenly he has the bag and the guy's looking for it. I'm like, what in the fuck?
That don't make no goddamn sense. Eventually, McBride and Maya escape and jump onto a ship where McBride announces that no, they're not looking for Maya. So he shoves her off overboard. And then she realizes, I'm clear. I'm fine.
Not fine. It's not a good realization.
Well, it is in the sense that she has less to fear now.
Well, she realizes that she doesn't exist or matter, which is not a good moment.
No, that part is never good.
But she also doesn't know if Arthur was trying to kill her because she didn't kill a soldier and screwed him, or if he was trying to protect her by getting her away from him.
Well, I think the fact that he reminded her that she's not being looked for points towards, I'm going to protect you because you won't be with me.
But then he shoves her into water, and she floats away with no protection whatsoever. Like,
well, that's true, but you got to figure that he would know whether she could swim or not.
It's not about that, though. Like, she doesn't know what he intended.
No.
So the realization that comes from it is that here you have this Arthur guy who we've been seeing almost like in the first 2 issues, like a possible Fidel Castro, Che Guevara, like positive rebellion guy, and then you're like, well, maybe he's like a Fidel Castro once he's in charge kind of guy. So it adds a level of depth to that character that we just weren't anticipating.
Yeah, I could say that.
You could, but I did say that.
Well, it's just because you're a better fucking man than me.
That's not true.
I don't know.
Mostly, but not entirely.
Why don't we finish up this fucking episode?
What's the next one?
This gigantic space arc of a fucking Inagata-Devita drum solo loop of
nice. Dun 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 dun.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
No, not at all.
With Ragnarok 5.
Ah, there it is.
Such a great book. I love Zombie Thor.
Zombie Thor eats a head, and not in the way you were anticipating.
Ugh. He meets some dwarves guarding a gate that will get him to Mimmer, Well of Knowledge. The well is protected by Immer's Rhyme, which is apparently some mystical ice shield thing. However, breaking it, he's noticed by a fire demon. Although the well is dry and he meets Mimmer himself.
Or his head.
Or his head, at very least. He notes that Thor must make a broth of angry rain, excuse me. Angry rain. I don't know how you get angry rain. or angry pain
Well,
either.
when Thor makes it.
Well, I suppose so. He's like, hey, man, I didn't want to fucking fall down yet. Those clouds are... Never mind. So, anyway, his own eye and Mimmer's head.
Well, the eye doesn't go into that. The eye is a sacrifice beforehand because it's still around after.
No, it's got to go in. And then he drinks it and
drops
it's in
it
the
to the
bottom
ground.
of it.
No, because he finds it after he blows up...
Let's go take a look.
Because both his eye...
And I'm never right when I go take a look. But I
know,
have to,
dude.
But I'm going to go take a fucking look anyhow. So he sacrifices the eye.
Drops it in the ground.
You
You got to go
Yep, very good. He does. He takes it out and drops it on the ground. All right. Hey, I got to check these things.
I'm not always right.
That's just me. I don't know what you're about. Anyway, at any rate, he recovers the eye because now Mimmer's gone, so who gives a shit?
No. Also wrong. So he drinks... Wow, we made it through the whole thing. He drinks the memory potion, so he has all knowledge. And then, meanwhile, Surtur has sent a team of...
Fire demons.
berserker fire demons. And a little old witch to lead them.
Which amused me.
Who all proceed to get knocked out in about 8 seconds.
He wipes them all out.
And he creates a giant crater at which he finds both eyes. And then he places his father's eye, the original sacrifice. So he has him in theory. That's why he has one blue and one green eye.
So that's fun.
Dude, it's awesome. There's so many little moments, like when he threatens the dwarves, or
the dwarves were fun.
Yeah, I totally enjoyed that. Or even the moment where he's like, I wonder if anything's alive, and you see the snakes starting to move towards him, and he cracks the hammer, and they're all like, fuck it, we're snakes, but we're not stupid.
I think we pulled it out, kind of.
Great stuff.
It's not even 9.
Madness.
You want to talk some DCs? You want to call it even?
Are we still on?
Yeah. It's
we're recording right now?
It's an hour. Yes, it's an hour and a half.
This is a weird conversation to be recording.
I don't care.
Bless you fuckers.
Bye-bye.
The Mean Geek is recorded live at the Reverend Mad Duck's apartment whenever the hell we can get to it. Find us on Facebook, Stitcher, Twitter under @TheMeanerGeek. Subscribe to us through RSS.
Or we can be located at our own site, www.themeangeek.com. And most importantly of all, you can find us as a proud member of the Comics Podcast Network.
Email us directly at themeanergeek@gmail.com.
Can I drink now?
You may.